Diaspora. In Greek, the term diaspora meant to disperse, referring to the dispersal of pollen and spores of plants that then take root and flourish elsewhere in a new soil. The dislocation and subsequent relocation of the Jews in biblical and religious history is taken as the paradigmatic early instance of diaspora. Diasporas, the voluntary or forcible movement of peoples from their homelands into new regions, is a central historical fact of colonization. Colonialism itself was a radically diasporic movement involving the temporary or permanent dispersion and settlement of millions of Europeans over the entire world. The descendants of diasporic movements generated by colonialism have developed their own distinctive cultures, which both preserve and often extend and develop their originary cultures. Creolized versions of their own practices evolved, modifying and being modified by indigenous cultures with which they came into contact. The development of diasporic cultures questions essentialist models, interrogating the ideology of a unified natural cultural norm, one that underpins the center margin model of colonialist discourse. It also questions the simpler kinds of theories of nativism, which suggest that decolonization can be effected by a recovery or reconstruction of pre colonial societies. The most recent and most socially significant diasporic movements have been those of colonized peoples back to the metropolitan centers. William Safran isolated specific features of diasporic communities that continue to have relevance today: collective memory, the anxiety over acceptance by receiving societies, the idea of an original homeland, idealization of this homeland, and the existence of an ethnic communal consciousness. Diaspora is the context not only for racial mixing through miscegenation, and therefore for new races and ethnicities emerging in the world, but also for cultural hybridation, producing new forms of art, music, architecture, and literature. For James Clifford, diaspora consciousness is produced positively through identification and engagement with transnational historical, social, political, and cultural forces that move away from single questions of home and origin. Within postcolonial studies, diaspora comes in for attention on two fronts. First, as we see in the writings of colonial era authors, it is the condition of colonialism itself. Second, it is the condition of numerous ethnic groups and peoples who move, willingly or under coercion, away from their homelands to other places. The literature of diaspora is characterized by nostalgia for the lost homeland, the dynamics of home and foreign, assertions of ethnic identity even as they seek to assimilate new cultural practices and beliefs, the anxiety of loss and suffering, the necessary adaptation of new identities that combine more than one cultural heritage, and increasingly a cosmopolitanism where the migrant celebrates multiple belongings.